Alright, we've got her all wired up here. I've got our jumper cable on one end of the coil wire and then onto our meter here. Got our meter set on ohms and see if we can get a reading on this coil. Go to the other side of the coil, which is here, and nothing. So that coil is open. Well, we expected that, so. Alright, so now let's see about taking this all apart. First thing is our contact up here on top that also holds the relay in place. Alright, so those are from our center pickups there. But unfortunately, what I've noticed here is the, now let me get this pulled out of the way first here. So there's our whistle relay out of the way, and then I'll, that doesn't even look like it was soldered on there. Just wrapped around there, and then this one is soldered on. So we've got our soldering iron heated up here. The solder's on the back side of this contact, so we'll try to work that solder out. Hopefully the wire will just pull through. If it's not wrapped all the way around. Let's take a look here. There we go. Let's make sure our hole's clear for our new wire. There we go. That looks nice. Okay, but maybe you can see here, whenever this took a tumble and busted that shell, you can see our air chamber here, whistle chamber, is broken also. Still sounded okay when I activated, but I'm going to try and glue that. I have some glue for just these kinds of problems. But it's probably broken on the bottom also. So I'm probably going to have to take this whole assembly, just a couple screws here. That's not original there. So that's been replaced. So we'll loosen these up and get our whistle chamber repaired. So let's try to back these out. Might need a bigger screwdriver than this one. Yes, we will. Alright, we got our bigger screwdriver here. Try to get this one out. There we go. Loosen this one up. go. Now we can use our smaller one. Yeah, this poor tender really took a dive, I guess. Somebody put the hurt on it. All right. There it is. That looks like somebody heated that to seal a big crack all the way. That didn't go all the way down to the bottom, so what I'll do is I'll use the glue that I have. We'll get it into that crack there, and then I'll clamp this, and that'll be that. What I use for these kinds of projects on this kind of older plastic that's like this GS Hypo cement, I picked this up off of, this is for jewelry and whatnot, crystals, optics, but it has this, if I can get this off, let me try. Let me grab my pliers here. All right, let's see if we can get this off now. A little bit of leverage. There we go. It's loose now. So anyway, it's has this real small tube on the end there, if you can see it. Too close. There we go. That way you can squeeze it into tight places, and just the heat from my hand is enough to make it start to come out there. But it's good stuff. It works very well. And then this has that steel piece of wire there, and it goes down in there and seals everything up. All right. So that's what we'll use to repair that. Let me get this back together. All right, that's all safe and sound. So there's that. All right. So I think what I will do is I'll take the motor off. I'll back those screws out, and we'll take the motor assembly off the whistle chamber before I start putting the glue on and clamping it. It'll be easier just with the chamber itself. Top on. All right. So our fan blade's in good shape. Bearing seems fine. There's no wiggle to the armature there. We're pretty dry. Our wick down in there is pretty dry, so we'll soak that before we put it all back together. But we know it works. We already tested that. So that's good news. Yeah, we'll get this glued up and clamped back together. Yeah, just looks like this part right here is our bad part here, so we'll get that fixed. All right. But that's what that sandwich looks like, if you ever were curious about that. Not much to it. These are all insulator blocks here between the contacts. All right, so we've got a couple of little projects to do before we can add our electronic relay. And the first thing is to get this glued up. Okay, so let's get this back off here. And with that little hypodermic there, you can really get it into small spaces there. Get it in that crack. Thusly. Then we'll get some on the inside. We'll make sure we clean this up, because after it's all set, because what you don't want is the fan blade hitting that after it's all set up. All right, so let's grab our quick clamp here. Get that set in there. Give her a nice squeeze. Thusly. Make sure we got a good, oh yeah, very nice. Let me wipe the excess out of the fan cage here. Less to clean up later. Alright, we can leave the extra on the outside for now. That's not going to interfere with anything. All right, very good. So we're going to let this sit for 24 hours, and we'll have to come back to this tomorrow. That's how long it takes for this glue to do its work. So, all right, we'll be back. Alrighty, here we are 24 hours later. Got our whistle chamber glued up. It's all cured. Did its job. Nice and smooth on the inside. Nothing wrong with that. Looks like we got a little bit of glue in our hole there. So we can take a drill bit here and just do this by hand, I'm sure, just to clean that out a little bit. Yeah. Alright. Make sure those are nice and clean. I took an alcohol swab and just cleaned up the air chamber here a little bit. Got 100 years of dirt and grime off of it. But I think we're in good shape. No flexing now. Next thing we got to do, test that our motor actually fits in there, and alright, that fits nicely. Let's check our impeller here, make sure it's turning freely. Oh yeah, not rubbing on anything, so that's good. Alright, so we'll get our longest screws here, put those back in. Not too tight, but not too loose either. Get that in there. Oh boy. Alright. I put it on the right side up. Yep, everything's looking good. All right. So then our next step is to get her onto the chassis once again. Let me just turn this upside down here. Rest it in place. Wires out of the way, burns. All right. Grab my screw starter tool here. That one. Don't snug it up yet until we get the other screw in. We'll just reuse the ones that came with this. Alright, very good. Now we can snug them up thusly. Alright, so that's all back together. Very good. Now, I think what we'll do for our electronic board, I'll strip these wires, and before actually mounting it permanently, like in here somewhere, I think you can mount these in any direction. It doesn't matter with the relay in here. So we could put it up against the plastic with some double stick tape. We could get some foam double stick, put it on the chassis. Uh, I think this would be the best way though. Put it right up there where the old relay used to sit. Okay, but before we do any of that, I'll strip these wires. I'm just going to hook up everything with the with some jumper cables first, and then we will test it before putting it all in a more permanent situation. So let me get my wire strippers and some jumper cables together. So let me start stripping these wires. It's a nice set of wire strippers here. They're all self-adjustable, and if you have thicker or thinner wire, turn this knob and it'll adjust itself. And but for the most part, with these smaller wires, it comes already adjusted, and you can adjust this stop here for whatever length you need, but I'm just gonna take a little bit off. Let's see, something like, yeah, that should be enough. Don't need a whole lot of bare wire here. Get these out of there. Get that out of the way. Yeah, they make your life a lot easier having this kind of stripper. I'll show you a little trick I always do, just to make my life easier also. Before taking the insulation all the way off, just go ahead and spin it around, the waste product, and you get a real nice twist on your wire. There we go. Excellent. All right. Get these out of the way for the moment. Grab our instructions once again. And he tells us here that he wants the red to the pickup rollers. All right. So we could just we'll put that on with those wires. Okay. Should be able to just bend that one around for the moment. Got a nice eye hook here, or an eyelet. All right, that's the red wire. And then the black, he wants that to go to the ground. All right, or the chassis. So we will do that. Let me get this up on the rail here. Just put it on our drawbar. And then this will go to the black. All right. Then he says we should put the green wire. Oh yeah, we've got to disconnect this and take it, the yellow wire, right to the coil. Alright, let's get that loosened up. Move. Huh. Almost looked like it was soldered on there for a moment, but it's just on there real tight. Which makes for a good connection. So, alright, we'll leave that hang loose for the moment. So now we've got to go from our yellow right here and we'll go to that wire right there. Alright, and then the green is going to go over to this brush right here. So we'll use a blue wire, blue jumper. Get that on our brush there. And then we'll use the green and the blue together. Alright, make sure nothing's touching anything else. Alright, let's see if this works, huh? Without blowing anything up. Alright, the power's to the track. Let's hit the whistle button here. How about that? It actually works. That did a nice job. I know this needs some Earl here. She's grinding a little too much. I'm real happy with that. Let's really give this a soaking on our wick here till it stops sucking it in. And I that's enough for the moment. Yeah, how about that? It actually works good. Yeah, she was dry as a bone. Let me try to get it in there on that other bearing surface in here. Take a look here. Where is it? There it is. All right. Doing good. All right, so I think we can button this one all up together here and get it mounted more permanent like. I think I'll just use some double stick tape and we'll just mount it on its side. Let me just put it on its side there for the moment. Make sure we can put it in that position and it'll still work. And it does. Alright, so I think some double stick tape on this side. We'll mount it up onto the plastic here. That way we don't have to insulate it from the chassis. And then we can finish up all our wiring. Put that nut back on there. Alright. Let's commence to that project. Let me unhook everything. Well, let me turn the power off. Alright. Power's off. Don't feel any heat on any components. None of the wires are hot. That's good news. Till that oil gets worked down in there, it's still going to be a little bit of a coffee grinder, but that's all right. We'll let that oil soak into that wick. Keep her nice and wet. All right, this is great news. I'm happy with this project so far. Let me get all my tools put away and we'll get some double stick tape, mount that up in there and go from there. All right, let's see about getting our board mounted here. I think what I'll do is lay that on its side. Thusly. All right, let's get I'm going to use some of this Fun Tack by Loctite just to mount the board. This is our air chambers plastic here, so shouldn't have any issues. That's this stuff right here. All right. So we'll just cut a little bit here. Me using a scalpel probably isn't the best thing with these hands, but all right, let's set that over there, out of the way. Swing this around. This ought to hold it real well. All right. Then set our board on that. Don't want to press too hard, just a little wiggle, get it set in there. Alright, that should be it. Makes for a nice installation. Okay, so our black wire is going to be our ground. So we're going to put that in this hole here. This lug is grounded via the motor chassis to the chassis, I should say. Alright, so there's our black wire, our red wire. That's going to go to our pickup roller right there. So get a little bit of flux on there, a little bit of paste flux on all these. I'll tin all these wires. Okay, there's the red one. There's the green. There's the yellow. All right. Then just need a little bit on our grounding lug there. That should do that. All right. Let's tin these wires. I think we're hot enough on our soldering iron here. Well, we can just go ahead and solder this one. All right, that one's good. Tin this red one. Yellow. And the green. Still had enough on our soldering iron for that one. Alright, let me take some alcohol here. Get the excess off, the excess flux off of there. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. Got a phone call, and then when I started working, I forgot to turn the camera back on. But all I did was cut that eyelet off, and we're just going to hardwire our red wire from our circuit board to the pickup rulers here. So we'll put a little flux on there. Got some heat shrink tubing already on the wire there. Let me close this up. Alright, let's get this soldered if we can. There we go. Get the excess flux wiped off here. All right, very good. Get our heat shrink on here. Oh, got a little stray insulation here. Let me cut that off. Alright, let's see if we can get that on there now. There we go. That looks nice. There we go. All right, now we got to hook up our green and yellow wires. All right, let's continue on here. Get my solder out of the way for the moment. We need this yellow wire. We'll tidy up all the wiring after we're finished here. I'm just going to wrap this around the coil wire here, and then I'll paint this with the let's see if I can get a good grip on this here with the liquid insulation. finally. We'll cut the excess off when I'm done soldering this. Put some more flux on this. Don't need that hair in there. Yeah, like I say, I'll paint this with that liquid insulation that I always use. That'll take care of insulating that. Let's see here. We'll get our soldering iron up and add them again. Alright, that should have done that. Very good. Snip that off right about there. Alright. And let's see, one more wire here. What do we got? Our green. And that will go to this brush right here. Let me, let's see if I can put a hook on this. Need some weight on that just to hold it in place. There we go. That's nice. Let that set up for a second. All right. Are we recording? Oh yeah, okay. Thank God. Thought I forgot to hit the button again. Alright, so we should be able to give her a test here. First we'll wipe off any excess flux. Alright, get this out of our way. Alright. Throw this up on the rail here and get that out of the way. Alright, let's give her a test here and see how we did. I like that. Doesn't sound as coffee grinder as it did yesterday. That oil in the wick probably soaked all the way down. And we'll give her another drink. Keep it wet. There we go. All right, I'm happy with this. A successful operation here. What I did find, a shell that I could use. This is got the handrails front and back on top, some handrail. All the screw holes are in good shape. I reinforced it with epoxy many years ago, and it's just been sitting looking for a project to use it on, so this will be a good one. And we'll pitch that other tender shell. But this should fit nicely on there. And I've got the screws for this. I believe this is off of a 2020 W tender. If I'm not mistaken, that was for the Hudson. Not the Hudson, the turbine. So, yeah, let me turn that power off. Let's put the shell on. Get that out of the way for the moment. Tuck our wire up in there. Thusly. And then our pickup wires. Oh yeah, fits nice. All right. Very good. I think that'll work. Let's see how she sounds with that on there. Should sound a little better. Yeah, she's sounding better. Excellent. Okay, we've got our tender behind our pre-war 229 that I rebuilt quite a while ago. Got her all lubed up and oiled up. She's ready to haul our consist here. I gave the tender a polish. Shine her up a little bit. Everything except the coal load, of course. We'll keep that a flat color. Coal is supposed to be dirty and dusty. But she's looking good. This is the 2020 W shell that I came across in my junk pile. So we put that on our 64, 66 chassis. And so we're going to take her around the layout here once or twice, see how our whistle does. All right. Sounding good. That digital board's doing good. From across the room. Nice and loud. All right, I think she's doing what she's meant to do once again. Excellent. So we've got a nice whistling tender once again. Alright. So thanks for watching, everybody. Toodles.